Hey guys, what's up? It's me again with another video. It's early as hell in the morning. It's Sunday. Yesterday, RWBY Volume 6 Chapter 13 came out. Volume 6 finale. It was good. Some of it was a little anticlimactic, but that's not exactly what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Volume 6, Episode 12. And their decision to kill Adam. Okay, let me just start off by saying, obviously you can tell that this decision made me angry. And not just, alright, like, let me backtrack. Not angry. Okay, well, okay, yeah, angry, but it upset me and disappointed me because it's like, you went to the trouble of revealing his face, and you revealed the brand on his face, and we all know what the brand means, but it's like, that's not enough. You have to give us more information. You gotta tell us when, why, how, who. Like, if the Schnee Dust Company, who's ran by Weiss's family, did that shit to him, at what point are we gonna get, like, an explanation from somebody in Atlas that, you know, that happened to Adam? Or when is Blake or Yang gonna bring it up to Weiss that, hey, Adam's dead, we killed him? Well, I'll get into that in a second. We killed him, but, you know, before he died, he didn't have his mask on, and I saw Yang should bring this up because it would be the first time that she's seen it, but I think that Blake should bring it up considering the fact that, you know, she and Adam were a thing, that Adam had the Schnee Dust Company letters branded on his face, and, you know, that should contribute to, that should do something for their relationship between Weiss and Yang, and just Weiss's view on her family and what her family's company has done to other people. Because it's like, had that not happened to Adam, he probably wouldn't have been the way that he was. He probably would have been a whole lot different. We have no idea what he would have been like had that not happened to him. I'm pretty sure that happening to him was the catalyst for everything. Like, you know, he could have gotten, you know, called names and racist slurs. He could have gotten beaten up and gotten into fights. He could have been paid less if he was a worker in the Schnee Dust Company mines or something like that. If he was actually just a worker, if he wasn't exactly a slave, but, you know, slavery is a very fast and loose term. You know, it's like right now with what's going on with the government shutdown, people aren't going to work because they feel like, you know, we're going to work and doing all this labor, we're not getting paid for it, this feels like slavery. So it's like, it can be construed either way, but it's like, and really, if you think about it, if you look at the way Atlas treats Faunus, and the fact that slavery used to be a thing, period, like, illegal slavery and slave rings and all that kind of stuff isn't uncommon. So, the notion that Adam could have been a Faunus slave is very likely. In fact, I'm, like, absolutely sure that that's what the case was. But, you know, we may never know. So it's like, my biggest problem with the fact that they killed him, it's not the fact that they killed him necessarily. It's the fact that they chose to kill him now. And it's like, you could have gone a lot further along with him before killing him off. And also, they killed him in a really bitch way, if you ask me. It's like, Yang caught his sword. First of all, she didn't break it, so it's like, you caught the sword and then didn't go to the trouble of just crushing it. You just threw it off of a cliff. And that's one of the reasons why some people think that he might still be alive, because, you know, you didn't destroy the weapon, so if he does come back, he still has a way to use his semblance. But then even then, it's like, you do that, and then it's like, it's not enough that you disarmed him. You could have just sorry about that. You could have just disarmed him and then knocked him out. And then what they could have done, instead of killing him here, they could have knocked him unconscious, finished helping Cordovan, you know, defeat all of the Grimm and the Leviathan and everything. And then, if they were going to go the same route that they did in the finale, spoiler alert, Cordovan uses the mech, and the mech has another weapon. It destroy it after Ruby uses her silver eyes on it, and then Cordovan destroys the Leviathan, and then goes on to handle the stragglers and protect the city. And then she lets Team RWBY take the airship that they have all the way to Atlas. So what they could have done is that they could have disarmed Adam completely, destroyed the sword, broke the gun, hauled him, and tied him up, knocked him out, or something, and then kept him restrained on the ship, flown him into Atlas. When they landed in Atlas, they would probably be met with some form of resistance, unless they, automatically were like, we have Weiss Schnee here, and, Crow would bring up, listen, I'm a friend of Ironwood, go get him, and he'll know what's going on. And then it's like, also, we have a Faunus terrorist, the Faunus terrorist, in our custody. Do you want him? Atlas is gonna say, yeah, we want him, because, Schnee Dust Company brand on his face, and they're gonna be like, oh, he must be Schnee Dust Company property, he must have escaped or something like that. Or, like, he could have been a prisoner, for all we know. He could have already had been in jail for something, and they branded him in jail, and then he escaped from jail. We have no idea what Adam's life was like before the White Fang. We have zero idea. So then it's like they could have captured him, brought him back to the Atlas military. Atlas military could have stripped him down, thrown him into a Faunus work camp or something like that, or a slave work camp, or a prison work camp, whatever the hell they have there. I'm pretty sure they have something seedy and fucked up like that in Atlas. Like, when you look at the way that Atlas is set up, like when you see Atlas in the Volume 6 finale, you can tell, like, Mantle is down here, right? And Atlas, which is literally a floating futuristic city attached by chains, is literally all the way up here. So you can tell, like, okay, the more superior people live all the way up here, and the, more inferior people live down here. So it's like, so then they could just chuck Adam in a prison, and Atlas, they're gonna sit up, like, the way Cordovan was acting, like, Adam is probably, he would probably get a trial, they would probably put him on trial for his crimes, he would be found guilty, and then he'd get sent off to jail. Atlas would make a show of it. They would make, like, the biggest fucking example of Adam that they possibly could. Like, they would parade him through the streets and just throw his ass in jail. And then, from Adam's perspective, it's basically like, I broke free, I got out of here, I survived this, and it's like, now I'm back here. And he would absolutely loathe and hate everyone on Team RWBY for that, and he'd want every single last one of them dead. And that would give him more reason to stick around. And so then you're asking, well, how would he get out of jail? Guess who else is going to be in Atlas around this time? Watts and Tyrion. And guess who was about to show up also? Neo and Cinder. So it's like, and then I'm pretty sure at some point, Emerald and Mercury and Hazel are gonna go to Atlas as support. And so it's like, at some point, Adam would probably be like, alright, alright, Adam would probably not go to them directly, considering the fact that Hazel kind of hung them out to dry. But Tyrion and Watts seem like they're the smarter, more calculating ones, and Cinder also is to an extent. I think she's pretty smart and calculating, but that's just me. I don't hate Cinder like a lot of other people do. She's a good villain in my opinion, but that's a video for another time. So Watts and Tyrion would get wind of Adam being in jail, and they would probably consult Salem and ask Salem, what do you want us to do with him? Because even though he kind of fucked things up at Haven, a good majority of that was mainly Cinder's fault. So it's like, what do you want us to do with him? And Salem, having the kind of sense that she does, and she would be like, alright, set him free, and see what he does, and see if he can redeem himself, and then if he does, allow him to come back to me, and, we'll see what happens. And then so, Watts would probably find out, through his connections, or whatever connections he has in Atlas, what Adam's semblance is, what he's capable of, what he can do, and all this kind of stuff. and Watts being a doctor, because I'm pretty sure that Watts is the one who gave Mercury his new his cybernetic legs after his fight with his dad, and he got his legs messed up. Pretty sure that's where Mercury got his legs from. You know, he made Tyrion his tail, and I'm pretty sure that, you know, he helped nurse Cinder back to health when she had gotten fucked up and brought back to Salem. So it's like, Watts is literally the doctor and the weapons maker of Team Witch. So it's like, it would make a lot of sense that if he found out what Adam's semblance was, found out what his abilities were, that Watts would make him a new weapon if he found out that Adam's weapon was destroyed. And he would probably have Tyrion break into the prison, talk to Adam. Tyrion is a guy who's really good at mind games and good with words. And, you know, Tyrion is a faunus. So Adam would have a lot more reason to want to listen to Tyrion. And, you know, Tyrion will present him with the gift, and he would be like, listen, if you join Salem, if you follow us, you'll get what you want. And, you know, Tyrion has that really good silver tongue. Like, he is very, very conniving and devious. So I'm pretty sure that Tyrion could sit up there and talk Adam into whatever he wanted to. And then, boom. He gives Adam the sword. Adam breaks out of jail. Probably slaughters the lot of everybody that's in there. And then breaks out, and then goes to probably do what I imagine he would want to do is, you know, hunt down Blake, number one, and then also dismantle the Schnee Dust Company after everything that's happened, obviously. So then, what I would personally want to happen from that point is that he goes around and starts executing the different executives of the Schnee Dust Company and just starts taking it down piece by piece, until he finally can get to Jacques Schnee, and before he gets to Jacques, he has a fight with Winter. And it would be at that point that I personally think that Winter would get revealed to be the Winter Maiden. He would fight with Winter, Winter would die, Weiss would get the Winter Maiden powers after that, obviously. And then, you know, Adam would try to go on to kill Jacques Schnee, and then, you know, we could have a climb, and then Adam's story could either go, like, he could either... I don't necessarily think he would die there. I think, like, you know, at that point, like, him being set free and killing Jacques, or, honestly, I think that either that would happen, or that Whitley is going to end up killing Jacques, but I don't know. That's just my opinion, because I don't like Whitley, and I just come up with theories to make him seem like a villain, even though I really do think that he is generally going to be a villain. But that's besides the point. Point here is that Jacques would somehow die by Adam's hand, possibly, and then Adam would go back to Salem. Salem would be like, you know, you're a good soldier, you know, you have the same wants and desires that I want, so, you know, I'm going to give you a power up, essentially. And then she basically, like, turns Adam into a grim hybrid, like akin to herself, but, like, not exactly. Like, he's more beast-like. He looks more like a monster than Salem does. But, you know, he's basically still himself, and he can basically turn that on and off, you know? Like, he can, like, transform parts of himself into a Grim, and, you know, he can still use his semblance and stuff like that. Because, you know, Cinder has a Grim arm, but she can still use her semblance and, you know, her maiden powers through the arm, so it's like, it's not like having magic took away her semblance. I'm pretty sure that's not the case anyway. So... that being the case, they could have done all of that with Adam, and then just, you know, at a point there probably would have been a time skip, and then Blake would have, you know, gotten stronger, Yang would have gotten stronger, and then, you know, at that point, you know, Blake and Yang wouldn't have to team up to fight Adam, because I personally have always felt that Adam was Blake's problem, Blake's opponent to fight, and that she would have to take him out by herself. Yang would have to go handle someone like Neo or someone else, or she would be dealing with shit involving her mom. And that Adam was Blake's nightmare to end. And in episode 12, they both kill him. Now, what I personally think is going to happen, because death doesn't always mean that someone's influence is gone. So it's like he can be dead, but you know, they still killed him. They're not licensed huntresses yet, so they didn't really, you know, have the right necessarily to kill him, even though it was in self-defense and all that. But still, it's like they spilled blood, and neither one of them has ever killed anyone before. to the best of my knowledge, some people in the beginning, like Roman, made it seem like when he first fought Blake, or the second time he fought her, and on the train in Volume 2, he made it seem like in the past that Blake had killed people, but this episode makes it very obvious that Blake has never killed anyone. So it's like, she's gonna have to deal with the fact that she has killed someone, and Yang is gonna have to deal with that too. Like, they didn't even bring it up to Weiss on the airship, in the Volume 6 finale, that Adam had the brand of her family on his face, and they didn't bring up to anyone that they shanked him, no, I think they did, because Weiss said, I'm glad that nightmare that you guys went through is finally over. So, I guess they brought up the fact that they killed him, but, they never directly say, hey, we killed him. But, it's like, they did that, it's not like they've ever killed anyone before. So I'm expecting that in the next volume, they're gonna, at some point, experience, some kind of trauma at the fact that they took someone's life, even though Adam was a monster, Like, I like Adam for the fact that he was a great fighter. He had I'm not going to say he had good motivations, because, his motivations were pretty dark and pretty fucked up. But, like, his motivations were interesting, He was an interesting character, psychologically, and just overall, in my opinion, was an interesting character. And it's like, they could have just done a whole lot more, and they just didn't. Like, they honestly treated his character very disrespectfully in the end, in my opinion, and they just... And they squandered his character. That's the best way that I can say it. They squandered his character, and they could have done a lot better. But, I'm not the one writing the show. This is just me ranting and rambling about how I feel about the situation. I'm still going to watch the show. I don't hate the show for what they did. I'm upset about it, Like, I'm salty. I'm really, really salty about it. But I'm not going to hate on the show or hate on the writers and say that they suck because I disagree with a choice that they made. There are a lot of decisions in this show that I disagree with. I just don't, overly, I don't get super invested in the issues the show has, because the show does a lot of things right, and, when it does things wrong, they're just, nitpick things that, that I see because my expectations weren't met on certain things. The show is still a really good show. The writing is great. The pacing is great, in my opinion. Some things could be done better. But, that not every episode isn't the length of a normal anime episode. We don't get, like, 23-minute episodes of RWBY every single week whenever the show isn't on hiatus. So it's like, it's understandable why it's done this way, and they can only do so many things with so many characters. But it's like, they could have kept Adam around a lot longer. And the way that they've done him in this episode just felt wrong, and they could have done it better. So that's all I've got to say about this. This video is over 18 minutes long already now, and I should probably end it. So that's all I've got to say about it. If you guys agree, disagree, leave your comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.